Clovercrest Media Group presents a CMG podcast. Keys to the City.
Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know.
Crossed up by Kobe, little floater to Shaq, and then Shaq goes like this, and the rest is history. Pay attention. Don't tell me what to do, devil woman. Speaking of those Lakers,
Hold on, Spawn. But I didn't make my.
I said Denver's gonna win.
Yeah, you did. You said that.
There's no other show like that. Clovercrest is doing great things right now.
Streaming everywhere.
The Cross'em Wrestling Entertainment Podcast, presented by Clovercrest Media, is what you AEW fans have been looking for. Noah Cross and Tyler Bard give their take on every week's episode of Dynamite. If you are a massive AEW fan, then it is time to join us every Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Stay Cross'em.
What's going on, basketball fans? We are back with the Posting Up podcast. I'm joined, as always, by King Zay, Sean Scanlon, and Big Jace. Hope everyone is doing well today. Speaking of doing well, some players are starting to feel better, and some pretty big names as well. Anthony Davis returned to the Lakers on Thursday, and Jaren Jackson Jr. finally played for Memphis. Last night he came off the bench. He had about 25 minutes. He looked good in a win for Memphis. And LaMelo Ball is nearing a return for the Hornets after it was speculated he would miss the remainder of the regular season. Guys, basically I'm gonna assign one of these players to each of you guys. So Jace, we'll go first. How big is AD coming back for the Lakers?
I mean, it's obviously very big. I mean, he's one of the best players in the league, probably the best defensive player in the whole league. So missing that was big. And then also, especially down the stretch here with them not having LeBron too, Andre Drummond isn't going to be able to keep him there, but keep him outside of the Andre Drummond himself can't keep him outside of the play-in tournament, I think. So having Anthony Davis back, helping make sure they don't have to play in the play-in tournament, I think will do very, very well for them. And, I mean, a lot of people still think that the Lakers are the best team in the West. So they need to stay out of that play-in tournament if they want to have some success in the playoffs, I think.
Isaiah, I know you've been keeping an extremely close watch on this Eastern Conference, 4 through 8 kind of slide, this tight playoff race. Hornets are one of those teams that I'm sure you've been keeping a close eye on coming for the Knicks and their playoff spot. It's big. You don't want to be that 7 through 10 playing in that playing game. How big is LaMelo Ball coming back for this Hornets team?
It's going to be huge. He's provided a spark off the bench for them when he was there playing before. He obviously a highlight machine. Him and what the hell's his name? Can't forget right now. But they're throwing up alleys all the time.
Miles Bridges.
Yes. Sorry. Whew. Look, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, him and Miles Bridges, they'll be throwing alleys again, making a highlight show. But he also they'll having Terry Rozier also and having him back. It gives them more depth back there at the point guard position and gives them more flexibility, to do things. So I think having him back is going to be huge. It's going to be great. Obviously, I hope they don't make a push for the 4th seed, but anything is possible once you have him back. I think, he's obviously going to be the future, at least one part of the future for that team. So having him back is going to be an impact for them, definitely going into the playoffs.
Now, Sean, tell me how big this Jaren Jackson return can be for this Grizzlies team, who are I believe they are currently sitting, they're sitting in 8th now, so still in that playoff realm they are. Looks like they're about 2 games behind Dallas for the 6th, so they can still escape the play in there. How big is Jaren Jackson's return for this team?
Yeah, that was one point I was going to bring up is that, they're only 2 games back from Dallas, only a game and a half back from the Blazers. So they could really, stay out of that play-in scenario. And I think that Jaren Jackson definitely helps that. I think that, not just offensively, obviously, I think him and John Morant have great chemistry. I think for a big man, he stretches the floor. And I think that, John, him in the pick and roll is pretty dynamic. And so just that offensively and then defensively, I think that, he's a pretty good rim protector as well. So, I mean, he's super young still, too. So, it's pretty bad that they didn't have him all year. I think that really hurt their chances. I mean, they're still not doing too bad. They're 2 games above 500. But I think, going down the stretch as he gets more and more minutes on the team as he comes back from injury, I think that, they realistically have a good chance to sneak into that 6th seed because the Blazers, as of late, they have not been playing well, especially down the stretch in late game scenarios. And then Dallas, I saw, Kristaps Porzingis got hurt the other night on Thursday. I don't know how long he'll be out for, but he just hasn't been able to stay healthy all year. And, Luka Doncic can't, Luka Doncic can't carry the team, all the time. Obviously, he's a great player, but he needs help from his other teammates. So I think that the Grizzlies are in a good spot, especially with Jaren Jackson back to, try and make a push for that 6th seed.
No, that's a good point. So a lot of important, obviously all 3 of these guys have an impact coming down the stretch for their teams. Most importantly, probably being Anthony Davis with that Lakers team trying to, scrape their way away from that 7 seed. Maybe a little extreme to think they might fall down that far, but
it's only 3 games.
That's true. Getting them a tough playoff matchup is probably the objective of all the other Western Conference teams. I guarantee other teams are giving them 110% every time they go out there. That's how it works with the championship caliber teams here in this league. So we're going to get into some games we're looking forward to this weekend. Before that, though, we're going to run you guys an ad for Clovercrest Media.
I love wiffle ball. No other way to explain it. Just something about the game, the feel of the grass, smacking that ball all over the field, making plays, diving head first, whatever it takes to get the job done. That's what wiffle ball means to me. Striking out grown men, watching their knees buckle on a called 3rd strike. Sit out, bud. And then, of course, the home runs, the base hits, the big home runs at the big moments. That's a whiff of greatness. Join us all season long for the Joe Aguirre Story, a CMG podcast.
One of the greatest athletes known to man, Joe Aguirre. We got to check that out this coming up this summer.
Looks like the Grom in the previews.
Yeah, hey, he can do it. Call him Shohei Ohtani. He can do it 2 ways. Anyways, I'm going to stick with the NBA here on this show. Guys, let me hear some games you're looking forward to. Sean, why don't you go first?
I'm going to go with the Grizzlies Blazers Sunday at 4. They played a game last night. It was a really good game. It was close right down to the wire. I switched over to that game once the Nuggets Warriors game got, it kind of turned into a blowout, but I saw the last, half of the game and it was really exciting. So, and like we just brought up, Jaren Jackson will be back. So I think this is going to be a really fun game with a lot of offense. I think that, the Blazers, they really need to pick it up. So I'm sure Dame will come out with some purpose and, he needs some help from CJ and Norman Powell. And I think it will be a pretty good battle between, Nurkic and Kanter going against the big guys and Valanciunas and Jaren Jackson being back. So I think it will be a really fun game. They just, like I said, they played last night. So this is what I like about these back-to-backs, when they play every couple of days is that, if you get a good game one night, then they're going to be playing, just 2 nights ahead. So I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully it'll be just as entertaining as last night's game. But who are you going to go with, Zay?
Well, if you're bored or you want to watch Sean's game, you can go with that. But if you have a remote, you could grab it right now. You could catch the Knicks playing the Toronto Raptors right now as they go for 9 in a row. And listen, I'm gonna keep telling you to watch the Knicks until they lose, until everyone jumps on board. The Knicks will go for 9 in a row. So tune in right now. That's what I'm gonna be watching in a few. Jace, what are you gonna bore us with? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm sticking with Memphis. I'm gonna go, but Monday I'm gonna go Memphis versus the Nuggets. The Jokic versus Valanciunas, good matchup. Aaron Gordon versus new Jaren Jackson back. Also, I've been thinking a lot about this since our last show, and Joker for me, he's the MVP right now, just with the assists and the triple doubles. And plus he's played in every game. I was listening to Charles Barkley talk about it on TNT, and I know it's weird. Charles Barkley sold me though. Charles Barkley made a lot of sense.
That's your problem. You're listening to Charles Barkley.
But Lucas, what's your game?
So it's actually coming up on ESPN right after Isaiah's Knicks lose to Toronto. The 76ers will be taking on the Milwaukee Bucks, who we did actually lose to the other day. We're riding a 3-game losing streak right now, so we've got to turn the boat around. Not overly concerned, though. Joel Embiid has been playing like an absolute monster despite the losses. So I'm just really looking forward to seeing this team. The Bucks are a team right now that are very, very hot. They're still pushing for that 1 seed. Giannis obviously very, very hungry for a championship. Having, an excellent season, of course. 28 points a game, 11 rebounds. Joel Embiid, 30 points a game, 11 rebounds. That should be a battle just like it was the other night. Hopefully the outcome is reversed, though. I want to see the 76ers come out on top. And speaking of red hot teams, that'll take us right into our next topic. Isaiah, you started us off saying the Knicks are going for their 9th straight win as we speak. The Washington Wizards have also won 7 games in a row and catapulted themselves into the 10 seed in the East, which means playoff play-in for them. Sean, I'll go to you first. I won't have you do any Knicks analysis. I'll save that for Isaiah.
Thank God.
Don't flatter me. He can do it if he wants to. I know he wants to.
You know what? Actually, that would be interesting. Tell me.
Let us know.
Tell me, Sean. Can the Knicks stay in the 4th seed the rest of the season, or give us a prediction? Where will the Knicks finish?
Yeah, I mean this stretch for them, the 8-game winning streak. I think it's been a great run, Isaiah. But unfortunately, I think at some point it's going to come to an end. I'm not sure if it will be today. I think they have a good chance of beating the Raptors, but they've during this stretch they've been shooting out of their minds. Offensively they've been scoring a lot of points, and I just don't know if that's going to last. Obviously, defensively it's I think they could stay in any game, but I just don't think this offense will be able to stay where it is right now. And a team like Atlanta, they're tied with them right now. They just have the tiebreaker, and I think that ever since Nate McMillan's been in there at coach, I think that they've really turned it around. So I think that Atlanta probably has the best shot to stay at that 4 seed. And then you have a team like the Celtics who are only a game back that are creeping up. So I think that, obviously I think the Knicks will be right there at a 5 or 6 seed. But unfortunately, I don't think they'll get that home court advantage this year. But what are your thoughts on that? I'm sure you think that they'll be staying at that 4 seed.
Oh, he's speechless.
Oh, yeah.
Mad, right? No, actually, surprisingly, I agree with you. The Knicks have a very difficult schedule coming up. You talk about they have the Suns twice. You have the Clippers in there. You have the Lakers in there. You have the Spurs, who are definitely not easy, no matter, even when they're not, the top team in the league. So the Knicks have a very difficult schedule down the stretch. I think the biggest thing for them is going to be about how many games they could pull out of that. Because like Sean said, the streak's going to end at some point. It's great, but it's not going to go on forever as much as Knicks fans want to see it. But as far as the 4 seed, I do still think it's obtainable, but it's going to be how they handle this stretch coming down. Like, it's going to be very tough, but I think we can get it. Is that help? Does that make it? Yeah, get out with me? All right, cool. It's all right. Whatever. We got the receipt.
Jace, you think the Knicks can hold on to that top 4 spot, or do you think they'll slip a little bit?
I like it. I think they can. Julius Randle's playing out of his mind. I think he can carry them. And I mean, everyone around the Knicks, their chemistry is really, really good. And I think that's what's going to keep them afloat. And also how well they play defense, which is pretty hard to find in the league nowadays. But I do think they can get that. I don't know if they can stay at that 4 seed, but they will 100% will be playing the Hawks round 1.
I will say one thing.
I'll tell you that.
Before you jump to Lucas, I will say one thing. Alex Burke is not back for the Knicks, and he's been impressive for the Knicks all year long. Alex Burke has really been holding it down in key clutch situations. So when he gets back, it's going to add another thing to the Knicks. So maybe that could push them to keep their 4 seed. But I didn't want to, discredit or disvalue Alex. He's really good for this team. He's really clutch and important. Huge signing over the summer. But Lucas.
Yeah,
break down the Knicks.
I'm not even going to talk about the Knicks. They're not worth my time. No, I'm joking. I think the Knicks obviously defensively have looked very impressive. Julius Randle, obviously that dark horse MVP candidate we talk about all the time. I mean, they've looked fantastic. Very surprising. A lot of people this year thought they wouldn't be very good. Julius Randle has obviously taken a massive, massive leap. And hopefully, next summer, for fans' sake, like Isaiah, they can bring in a top-tier free agent. Although Isaiah's shaking his head, you don't want them to bring in a free agent. You just don't think they will.
No need for it. There's no need for it. I feel like the biggest issue with the Knicks for the last couple of years has been looking for a savior, and I think they continue to on course in the way they're going. They'll build a pretty good team. You could probably make RJ Barrett into your next whatever. Him and Randall, you can make a duo there. I don't think you need to get a free agent. I just think it's overrated and a waste of money at this point. Look at the Nets. They got 4 of them. They can't keep them on the court.
I mean, but the Nets are also 20 games above 500. You guys are only 6.
What does that mean if you don't? I mean, like I said, when the playoffs start, that becomes a whole nother season. If the Nets don't make it past the first round, God forbid, say injuries happen or whatever it is, it looks like a complete waste of time and money. So I prefer not to get a free agent.
Well, that's very interesting. I thought you would feel completely different about that. And then the other team we're talking about here, the Wizards. We'll go in the reverse order this time. Jace, I'll start with you. Obviously, this team has some superstars. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal are 2 top players in this league. And, the surrounding cast isn't horrible. It just seems like during the season they've had their lows for whatever reason that might be, whether it be chemistry or just not being able to click. Like I said, they have catapulted themselves into that 10 seed. They have won 7 straight games. They've looked the best they've looked all year. Jace, if this Wizards team makes the playoffs, can they give anyone trouble in that first round?
I think they can. I mean, Russ is Russ, and then you have one of the best scorers in the league right now, Bradley Beal. I think if they get hot, if Bradley Beal's hitting some shots, I think they can beat anyone. And I mean, especially if Russ is also putting up triple doubles with ease. But I think the real struggle though is them staying at that 10 spot and getting into the play-in. I do think if they get into the play-in, they can get into the playoffs because Russ's ability to take over games. But I think that's going to be the struggle. They got some tough games. At Atlanta twice, Milwaukee, playing the Lakers in a couple weeks. No, later this week. So they got some tough games coming up, and so I want them to get in there. If they do get in there, they can make some noise, but it's going to be tough to do that.
Yeah. So that being said, Isaiah, what do you take for the Wizards? Do you think they could be a viable threat in the first round, or do you think they'll kind of just get swept?
I think it's going to be a sweep situation. I think it's going to take a little too much for them to get in. I think it's going to take too much of Russ and Beal to get in, and by the time they get in, at that point, the team would probably be worn down at that point. You got 2 options on offense, really, for the most part. Not many options outside of that. Not the greatest defense. And when you talk about the teams that could be in the play-in, you're talking about teams that could possibly have been the number 4 seed or number 5 seed. You're talking about the Celtics or the Hawks or one of those teams that were up there competing for that position. So I don't see them really making a deep run or even getting a win in a play-in. I'm sorry. I think it's going to take too much from Russell Westbrook and Bill just to get them there, for them to get a win. Maybe Sean sees it different.
I was going to say, Sean, what do you make of this Wizards winning streak?
Yeah, I mean, they've been really impressive over this winning streak, and Russell Westbrook has been playing really well. He struggled really early on, especially with shooting the ball, but I mean, he's been shooting at a much more efficient clip as of recently. Obviously he's a triple-double machine, but like Zay said, I mean, they could score with a lot of teams, but I think their defense is what really holds them back, and I do think that if they get into the play-in scenario, I think they have a good chance of winning against a team like the Hornets, who, they've been struggling as of late. They're 4-6 in their last 10, and maybe LaMelo Ball can do something for them, but I could see them beating them and getting into the 8th spot. But I mean, if they go against the Nets, who's at the 1 seed right now, I think that, there will be a lot of high scoring games in the series, but I'm not sure that the Wizards will come away with a win in any of them. I just think that, obviously the Nets have some great scoring, and I think that the Wizards will be able to stay, within 5 or 10 points in most of the games, but I just think their defense is what's going to hold them back. So I think it will be entertaining to see them in the playoffs. Obviously, Russ turns it up in the playoffs. It'll be fun to see Bradley Beal there, who hasn't been there in a couple of years, ever since, John Wall got injured a couple of years ago. But I think that, it will be, good TV to watch if they do make it, just because of their offense.
Yeah. So only time will tell where these teams go come season's end. You never know. The Knicks could be lifting up the championship trophy at the end of June. So anything is possible.
Let's relax with that.
You never know. Anything is possible.
You never know. Every team could get COVID, and then the Knicks will be the only ones left.
The Knicks get that 4 seed, and they knock off that team, whoever it be. And they happen to get the Nets in the second round. I think it'll get interesting. I want the Nets. Like KD wants the Knicks, I want the Nets. You don't even understand it.
Oh. Very, very bold take right there.
I want them.
We're gonna get into our third topic of the day right after this ad from Clovercrest Media.
My brain's saying go Whitaker, my heart's saying go Gaslam, so I'm gonna go Gaslam.
I gotta tell you, your words confuse me.
I'm standing there with the bat, and then here comes this Bugs Bunny pitch. Oh. Where is this going?
I like it because he makes some sense right until like the last 4 or 5 seconds, and then everything goes different than what he just said, and a different name comes out of his mouth.
Throwing Jabs, available for download on your favorite podcast platform.
All right, so I always like to end with something fun. I think this will be kind of fun to hear what your guys' answer was to this. Basically, I want to know if you had to make a one-on-one dream matchup with one current player and one retired player. Obviously, they both be in their primes at the time the matchup is taking place. Which matchup would intrigue you guys the most? Sean, I want to start with you.
I'm going to go with some big men here. I'm going to go Bill Russell versus Joel Embiid. I think that, Bill Russell, from all the older people that saw him play, said that, he was one of the most dominant defensive players that they've ever seen. And obviously, with the season that Joel Embiid is having, I just think it would be fun to see a big man matchup like that. I want to see if, Bill Russell can actually hold down the paint against a guy like Joel Embiid, who has obviously, such size and strength down there. So I think a big man matchup between them two would be really fun to watch. I think that, on the other side of the ball too, Bill Russell, he wasn't, known as a very dominant offensive player, but obviously, he can grab some boards down there. He can get you some buckets, and Joel Embiid is a great defensive player too. So I think, it would be a really intriguing big man matchup. Obviously, we don't see that a lot in the NBA nowadays. It's more, a lot more guard play, and the floor is obviously more spread out. But I think, to see some bigs like that banging down low would be a lot of fun to watch.
Isaiah, what about you, man?
I'm here for all the smoke. I want to see Kyrie go up against Russell Westbrook. Kevin Durant want to leave people off his list on who's the best players he played with. I want to see that matchup right there. Two of the best point guards to ever play the game. Obviously, they'll go down in the Hall of Fame at some point. And I just want to see them play. I want to sit next to KD. I want to see them two play. Decide who's the best that he ever played with, because those are two, like I said, two electrifying, two of the most exciting point guards I've ever seen play the game, honestly.
Jace, what about you, man?
I'm going to go with my Utah Jazz and Karl Malone against Anthony Davis. Two of the best power forwards ever to play the game. And I mean, Anthony Davis, I would just love to see how Anthony Davis can deal with Karl Malone's size and strength. And just to see Karl Malone try and score on Anthony Davis would be interesting. I was going to say Shaq and Joel Embiid, but Sean stole Joel from me. So I'm going to go Karl Malone and Anthony Davis.
Chase, believe it or not, I'm happy Sean stole that from you, because I do like that matchup a lot better. That's very intriguing. But part of me wanted to joke around and go Muggsy Bogues versus Boban Marjanovic. But I don't think you guys could take me seriously. So why not do the one matchup that everyone has wanted to see their entire life? Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. I mean, come on. Two of them are obviously very, very great defensive players in their own respect, and very great offensive players. LeBron does have the size advantage, and they're both very athletic. They're both argued to be the greatest of all time. So why don't we, in this hypothetical world, get them both in their best form and have them go one-on-one? That, to me, would be the most intriguing matchup I could think of in my head. No, Isaiah, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, I think that's the horrible idea. I'm a LeBron fan. I want to continue to say he's better than Jordan forever. If you actually give me proof that he's not better, I can't have that argument no more. It's a horrible idea. Let's continue with the what if, as long as we go.
Hey, I'd rather see LeBron against like a Magic Johnson, someone who's still got the size and the ball handling ability. Nah, you don't like that, Zay?
I don't. I think their styles don't match up. I mean, obviously, with the Jordan LeBron does make sense, but I don't know, man. Maybe
LeBron
I want to see
Larry
Magic.
Bird.
Maybe Magic LeBron, if they were playing like 5-on-5, I'd probably want to see that, because then you get the assist game in there, and then we could both see their passing skills against each. I'd like to probably see that 1-on-1.
Two of the greatest passers of all time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 1-on-1, I probably want to see Kobe and Jordan before I see LeBron and Jordan. Probably Kobe and Jordan before LeBron and Jordan.
I just want one of the fan bases to shut up for the rest of the time. That's the only reason I do it.
No.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I like that.
For all the marbles. I was going to take that, but I figured everyone was going to pick that just because I feel like that was the obvious
That's the
choice,
SpongeBob Square pick.
Yeah. Hey, but
that where it is.
Muggsy versus Boban. How about that one?
I like that.
Who's taking the crown?
Be very intriguing.
Is that a Fisher Price suit?
Maybe Muggsy could just run around, tire him out, and then shoot a three.
Yeah.
Anyways,
another one, Oscar Robinson versus Russ.
Russ all day. That's my guy.
So you got Russ versus Kyrie. You got Russ?
Russ is my favorite player. Hell yeah, I got Russ.
That would be interesting, though. Those two in their prime, that would be very interesting.
I think
Kyrie's handles would worry me, but I still got to go with Russ. I don't think he could handle Russ going to the rack.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't think he can. Yeah, that.
There was a time where I know my opinion doesn't carry much weight at all, but I considered Russell Westbrook the best point guard in the league. So that would be very, very intriguing. I think that's all we got for today. Posting Up Podcast brought to you by Clovercrest Media. We're here every Tuesday and Saturday. Tuesday at 5, Saturday at 1. Thanks to Sean Scanlon, Kingsley, and Big Jace for Lucas Bolduck. This has been the Posting Up Podcast.
Hi, my name is Zach LaPlante. Have you ever imagined about starting your own podcast or radio show to voice your opinions and share your passions with others? You think to yourself, how would I even start something like that? I don't have any equipment or any experience whatsoever. Well, look no further. The folks at Clovercrest Media got you covered.
Clovercrest Media Group is home to over 30 individual podcasts, like Divide We Stand, I'll Piss You Off Shortly, Speaking It Real, and so much more. At Clovercrest, our sound engineers only believe in the best sounding audio quality, and their expertise will make your podcast sound professional and pleasing to your viewers. As a media group, we are obliged to every type of media available, including, but not limited to, video, audio, photography, and digital media marketing, as well as live streaming, and so much more. As we say here at CMG, the harder we work, the luckier we'll get. To jumpstart your podcast or program, go to clovercrestmedia.com and get to recording today.